Hi everyone, welcome back to Cute Nerdy DIY. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this DIY Squishy Avocado Pencil Topper. So to start with, you're going to need some pencils and a block of memory foam or sponge. So this is up to you, it won't make much of a difference, but whichever's easier and cheaper to get. So the first step is to make sure that there's going to be enough room on the sponge for your pencil to fit around. Measure up roughly how far you want the pencil to go and then draw your shape onto the sponge. For this I used a Posca pen, you can use a normal pen, it's completely up to you. The next step is to then start cutting out your shape. So the best way to do this is to cut out the block first and make sure that your shape is going to be in a square shape. Now the reason to do this is because you need to make sure that the pencil will fit nicely in the middle and there'll be enough room around it so that it doesn't fall out the sides. So as you can see here, I've used the pencil as reference to draw the hole in the middle. So the next step is to simply start cutting out your shape. So I decided to do a cute little avocado because I really like them and I thought it'd be a fun little design to do. So remember that the drawing you drew on the top is basically just a guideline, and what I needed to do here was to create the little seed in the middle of the avocado. So I basically cut a little circle out of the middle and then cut around the sides so that that was sticking out from the rest of the avocado. So once you've got your shape, check that your pencil still fits in, and then when that's done you can just neaten everything up. So once that's cut out, the next step is to make the hole that the pencil's going to fit into. So I actually did this using the sharp end of the pencil and it worked really well, and I basically just pushed the end of the pencil into the sponge. Now it doesn't matter that there's leaving a mark, but basically if you keep wiggling this to get it in, it'll eventually fit and create a perfect size shape to put the other end of the pencil in. For this make, I haven't used puffy paint, so I've used acrylic paint, PVA glue and shaving foam. So if you want the exact measurements, you can watch my other videos to see how much acrylic paint I put in and how much glue and shaving foam I put in relation to that. But basically when you've done the mixture, it's time to start painting it on. So with all of these DIYs, I always paint it with white first to try and cover up the yellow colour underneath. Try your best to do quite a thick cover, and the best thing about the pencil topper is that you can actually paint it whilst it's on the pencil, which means that it's easier when it comes to dry. So the next step, I basically created another puffy paint mixture, and this was using a green instead. It's the same mixture, it's just using a different colour, and I needed to then go over the white once it had dried with a green paint. And once this layer had dried, I went over it again with another layer just to make it thick and to get rid of any air bubbles. So the next step was to start to draw inwards, so I did the inner line because on the inside of avocado skins it's a little bit lighter to the outside, so I thought I'd just draw that little line on. So I used one of my lollipop sticks here to draw the line on, and I actually broke it in half, which made it a lot thinner and easier to use. Once this had dried, and it didn't take very long to dry at all, I then went in with the next bit, which is the kind of fruity bit of the avocado that you eat. For this I basically used the mixture I had before and put some white in and yellow to make it a light shade of green because I didn't want to waste any of the paint I already had. But again, just make sure that you do quite thick layers because the PVA glue will shrink when it dries. So if you do thick layers and do 1 or 2 layers, then it will make sure that all the air bubbles of the sponge are covered up. So once that had dried, you can see the kind of squishiness of it, and you'll notice that it's not very slow rising at all. Now that's because we needed to do another layer. The next step was to paint the little seed in the middle. So from my strawberry DIY sponge video that I did, I actually had some of the chocolate paint that I'd made, so I actually used that because that was the perfect colour, and I basically started to spread that on. I think in the end I did another layer of this just because it shrunk a bit when it dried, but basically it had a really nice glaze on it when it had finished and it looked really good. So as you can see, it's quite squishy, and the final step was to draw the cute little face on. So here I'm using a fine line marker. You can use a Sharpie, it's just I had this one, which is a lot easier to draw fine details. I then went over the eyes with a Posca pen to draw the little reflections, and he was finished. So the final step was to add it to my pencil, so I had actually painted the pencil to make it look nicer, as you can see. And it's pretty much finished. So because there was a hole where the pencil had gone in, I actually covered that up with some glue, and this made the squishy really slow rising, and it's definitely worth gluing the bottom if you can. So thank you for watching this back to school squishy video. If you liked it, then give it a like, and you can subscribe with the button below, and I will see you in the next video.